Well, almost all the way out, we have this metal grating. It can get shoelaces or pant legs or shins. Okay, so be careful with that.
Looks like acorns.
Yeah, there's a lot of coral again in this area.
Looks like acorns. Well, the darker ones.
I've heard a lot of things. Yeah, popcorn, coral. How about Dippin' Dots? Have you guys?
Oh
Dippin'
yeah.
Dots? Yeah.
Dippin' Dots.
About 5 or 6 years ago, all the school kids were telling me Dippin' Dots, and I had no idea what Dippin' Dots were for probably 3 years or something. You know? I love them. They're yummy. First, let me tell you about the ramp. Okay, there's all kinds of things in here, and I'll cover a lot of it. But the ramp, it wasn't here. When Walter Mercer came through, he had nothing like that. So he was coming through this area called the Old Pathway, and they were climbing around on ropes. And yes, they were literally on the rocks. So they did use coveralls and gloves protecting the rocks and protecting their skin a little bit. A little bit rugged tour though.
Yeah.
They finally got a few ladder things. Kind of like this 4x4. It would be like climbing on a telephone pole in our cave. During those times, they had no electric light and no flashlight. Okay? So, with no decent lighting that we call good lighting, they had candles. Candles were a little tricky climbing around on ropes. Okay? So, with a candle and a rope, be kind of clumsy, I'm sure. They finally got a few of the ladders and then the candle board. Okay? The candle board's an awesome tool. You could put it in your mouth. Carrying this in your mouth is how they did the old tours. Then they had 2 hands for the ropes and the ladders. Okay? So that was a little easier. I get easy. Bushy beards. A lot of beards. So on those tours, I bet they were extremely careful with this in their face for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. They knew nothing about germs either. They would have it in their mouth, have it in their hands, put it on the dirty rocks, and say it's your turn. You know, passing it around the group. So I did.
Yum.
Right above us, this is an awesome piece. This one's called Cave Lasagna. The lasagna here was formed a lot like the angel wings or the bacon we've seen earlier. But this one had a lot of air. Okay, the pocket I told you about below, there was so much breeze coming through for thousands of years, the breeze would literally push the water. Okay, for thousands of years, it was just swaying the water a tiny bit. The dribbles were moving with the breeze. Okay. This is a really visual room. I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
These pockets, okay, millions of years ago, it was all underwater. Okay, there wasn't really any growth. This was just rock and water. Way back at some point in the Lord's time, the water just kept swirling and carving all through these areas. So these are natural holes. Eventually the water dried and the rainwater brought in the growth, the coral back in there. The growth is from the rainwater. Now again, the swirling water right through here, it must have at one time been almost like a wave coming through. Swirling water would have made all the dips and scoops and bowls. Very sharp spots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pretty awesome. As you're coming up, the side right here is a little sharp, so watch your left arm, guys. Stays pretty consistent. It's the average of Murphy's, you know, the actual area. In most cases, it's an average temperature. But since we have 3 holes, the exit entrance, bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
The entrance and exit in that air hole, we do have a little circulation, so it varies a little bit. Okay, watch your head right there, too. Now, a torch and lantern. Well, they were helpful in their time. The torch, I wish I could have seen in here. I'm sure it would have been an awesome light in any room.
Oh, yeah.
But there was so much smoke and soot that they did not use it in here very long. And they started using more and more lanterns. Well, a lantern like that, with no electricity, you wouldn't be seeing much at all right now. Carbide lantern and kerosene lantern were mainly what they had, and several candle boards. Okay? 15 years they had those lanterns and candle boards. 1900, they finally got power in the cave, and I'll be telling you about that at the very end of the tour. This is pretty awesome. This area is extremely wet. As long as I've been here, I've never seen it dry. So that's year-round water. One of the only places in the cave that's truly year-round wetness right now. Okay. Now, one really dripping, I see it be a stream a few times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just the size of your pinky, but a stream of water once in a while. Cave wax. Cave wax is very clean mineral coming through. Quite a bit of clean calcite. Right up here is another formation that's fairly clean. That bridal veil has just a few stripes in that. Maybe wet and dry seasons, I'm not exactly sure. But not many. There's just a little bit in there. As you're looking at that, think about the rock below. That rock cracked in half millions of years ago. Okay? Erosion and shifting were millions of years, roughly. Okay. Then this is estimated to be about 20 to 25,000 years, the growth itself on this piece. Okay. So take a good look there. And there's going to be a couple of places to look out for. Headache Rock and Tall Man's Misery up here.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's a little low. This rock's kind of in the way too, so be careful on your left right here. This is our dew room, and in the right conditions, when it's really wet, every little sparkle can be a drip of water. Watch your head. Headache Rock right there. Tall Man's Misery right here.
Oh, goodness.
It's a little narrow. Just for a couple minutes.
Yep, I was definitely a lot smaller.
Teenager?
I'm 22.
No, when you were here
Oh.
last, you think, well, how old?
Oh, God, 10.
Oh, yeah. That's so good. Yeah,
So that was easy for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is kind of a fun room. It's difficult with school kids, let me tell you that one.
Oh, yeah.
Darkness right here. 4 candles, they were thinking, was going to help them a little bit. But with 4 candles in here, you couldn't carry it very easily at all. Carrying this in your mouth would be a problem. 4 candles, lots of beards, lots of dripping wax, not so good. Let me show you what it looked like. Ah, come on. Hey, here we go. How to practice. It's weekend only stuff. Okay, with 4 candles and no electricity, that would be a little tricky, I'm sure. Okay? Well, 4 candles was just, there were too many problems. Bushy beards, heavy board, you can't really carry it. Dripping wax, not so good. So, 1 candle was what they normally had. This room, there's reflection. It's not so bad. The Gothic chamber, where we first entered the cave, there's not really a rounded light room. That is a bigger, darker room. Not so much reflection. This is how they explored in the first few days, or however long it took, to get down farther. Okay?
Yeah.
Not much light with those little candles. Okay?
Drop the candle.
After they established tours, exactly. After they established those tours, you can have a clumsy guide, okay? and no power at all, and no flashlights, no